these videos, it has very clear indication where he is, trying to let us know he is right there. Why in the world Chris himself would not come out and shut us all up? He looks to me like Chris replaced Chris. So I have been on this case of a mannequin for a really long time now. To be honest, since the beginning, since day one, I investigated the case and I approached it from the point of view where I've tried to actually abolish the old conspiracy theories saying that the mannequin is a model. So I've tried everything to prove that this is not actually true. So before we get to this, I want to just pinpoint some facts, and then we will get to the part of the what's the theory behind it. The facts are that he has been in fact a model for Balenciaga, and he's been very active with them 2019, and then around 2022, three years later, there has been a mannequin created inspired by him, by his looks, in Balenciaga store in Paris. The fact is that he has been a part of the Tomorrow is Another Day agency from Germany, and he's no longer there with them, and we don't know why, although I'm trying to get to the point of this. The facts are that the people who were at the time with him at the agency, they are still there, remaining there till this day, except for him. The facts are that we don't really know his real name. We do operate with names like Chris and Christopher because that's the name that he has been given by the agency he's been with, and that's how we know his name. However, we don't know that Christopher actually is in fact his name, because he's operating with two different names, like Christopher G or Christopher Tyler, and he might as well be called completely something else. At the end of the day, we are now not we, but I mean entire internet social media community is dragging his name through this conspiracy of Balenciaga Mannequin, and maybe he's operating on the completely different name if he's out there. The facts are that he's nowhere to be found unless we're looking in the wrong places. And as an active fashion model, he's not there. You know, he's at this time of his age where he's at the peak of his career. And I would say that as someone who was inspiring so much for Balenciaga and who was really good model, should be modeling for others and be also active with them. So I can't seem to find that he's actually actively taken part in any fashion venues or shows. So for that reason, I think he might not be active, although we can't tell that for sure. The facts are that Chris and Isaiah, the TikToker, they're two different people, and we should not mix one with another. There's whole like a twisted story behind Isaiah being the Chris and Chris being him, and Chris never has been TikToker from what I found out. And to be honest, Isaiah himself is very little information about him as well, but I could tell that these are not the same people, although there's a lot of people like that who have some sort of history with Balenciaga, some sort of beef or drama going on, like Isaiah, like maybe Chris. We don't know if there's anything behind it, but there's a lot of people with problems with Balenciaga, so we can't put all of them in a one basket. We don't know for a fact that Chris is missing. There's no like official information that people are looking for him, right? For him to be missing, we need like his family or somebody or some information or some public information out there they would suggest that he is in fact missing, or there was an accident, or he's nowhere to be found. There's nothing like that. People claim that his family's claiming him being nowhere to be found. This is actually false in his case. Maybe in Isaiah's case, but in Chris's case, I can't find any of that information. Chris is not active on social media, even though he is. I know it sounds crazy, but till this very day, today, Chris posted some videos on his social media, and these videos contain him or someone else presenting a scenery of events like a music event or a venue that he's attending in his local place where he lives. It has very clear indication where he is. So there's a mention of the place. In one video, he even had exact geographic location pinpointed into the video. It's like he's trying to, or whoever, trying to let us know he is right there. So we're looking for him there, or we are being in belief that he is there. But the problem is that none of these videos, although there's multiple of them, contain Chris himself. So for example, like a selfie, or how you make a video that you're at an event and then you turn it into a selfie or show your friends or anything, it's completely private. So it's like me showing it from the other side of the camera, but nobody's actually behind the camera to show who's taking these videos or who's actually uploading them online, because we don't see Chris. Now, this is another part of my facts check. Why in the world Chris himself would not come out and shut us all up and basically say, listen guys, I don't know where these all stories coming from. This is building up too much. This is ruining my name. And at this point, my name is only associated with these theories, and that's it. So wherever he's gonna go look for a job, and someone types in, let's research what Chris done with Balenciaga, let's see his history as a model, they're gonna see all our conspiracy theories about him, and that's not good for him, is it? So why would he not want to make it clear? Because if Chris was out there and he created his own social media right now to tell us the stories, he would probably be very successful in doing so, and us listening to him. He could have done, kind of Rissa Tessa kind of series telling us from the beginning what happened, how this mannequin thing situation happened, and where he is right now, and how he's dealing with what we're talking about. But we don't see that. I don't mean he's gonna go so deep into it, but there is nothing. There's no statements, there is no photos, there is no videos of him, there's no lives, there is nothing. Apparently there was a live back in 2023 where he would show himself laughing that all the conspiracies are being crazy, I'm right here, I'm not dead, I'm not a mannequin, I'm right here. But can we actually confirm this video was in fact Chris? I personally seen the video, and it was like not convincing, to be honest. Although I wanted it to be true, it wasn't convincing. So that's how everybody who seen the video just basically ignored it, because it wasn't believable. It looked rendered, or it looked like he didn't even want to show his face in the video, so it was weird. I don't know if he's kind of shy person, or is that all stage? I don't know. The same is for Balenciaga. Why Balenciaga's not saying nothing about it? Like they completely, they don't want to make a drama out of it. They don't want no PR to be digging into this and dealing with that kind of headache. So they just ignore it. They just leave it as a conspiracy theories that never will be addressed. So one thing that really got me thinking, when in December the new collection dropped for Balenciaga, and I've seen one model who really, like, it gave me like a chilling feeling when I've seen it. And this is the picture I'm gonna show you right here. I thought this is Chris. Honestly, I was like, oh wow, Chris is back, okay? But no, this is not. And in fact, this is Alton Mason. He's a model. He does modeling for Balenciaga and what's the other brand called? Vitamins and Chanel. You know, so he's been like, the more I read about this model, he's like being portrayed as like top male model right now. Like, you know, wherever he's walking, people are praising him. But the fact is that when I compare certain photos, I'm going to show you right now, he looks to me like Chris. And Chris looks like him, and him looks like Chris. And I don't know how much these two have in common, but for me, Alton replaced Chris. And Chris was that inspiration, like I said from the beginning. Chris was that, you know, that face, that, like, he got that characteristic look, you know, that unique way about him. And this guy replaced it. That's my feeling, my opinion. And I began to think, like, how convenient that Chris was taken away from the picture and this guy came in looking just like Chris, you know, because when you look at Alton, he doesn't always look like that, but he is being styled like that, to look like that. His hair is being the same, his face, the shadows on his face is literally Chris, and it just gives me shivers. Why? You know, he could have looked completely differently. His hair could be different, because when you look at him, his style, that's not necessarily his style. So it did make me think. I'm not saying they like clones, anything like that, but there is something behind it. There's some mystery behind it. Like, we don't see Chris anymore, we see this guy. And he's now like this big supermodel, and that is being praised by everybody in the fashion industry. And why Chris is not there anymore? What happened? He could have been modeling, like I said, he could have been still out there. You know, all the people there were with Chris at the time of 2019 and 2020 campaigns, and they still there till this day. The same faces on and on and on are repeating itself every single year, and they kind of become like a faces of Balenciaga, if you know what I mean. There's few people like that. I'm gonna show you obviously on the pictures here, and they've been there for years, and so could have been Chris. But what happened that he's not there anymore, and he's been completely removed by the agency? He's been wiped out of the database. He's no longer you can't research his profile with them anymore. It's been completely wiped out. So what happened? Has he made some sort of exit himself, or did anything happen that he quit that part of his life? Because he classes himself, according to social media, as a fashion model. So is he fashion model that is already retired, or is he not? Because he's definitely not an active fashion model. Someone who's a fashion model with their social media is on fire 24/7, and they seeking that attention. I will be looking into it, and I will be giving you updates. These stories can go wild on the internet, and there are in fact a very wild stories. If you follow our channel, and you will learn very soon that stories can get beyond what we imagine to be realistic, and it could be the case here as well. So we will look into it, and that's why I'm looking into this Alton and Chris connection as well, which I find kind of disturbing. I don't know about you, you might think this is a stretch, but there is something behind it. If you look at the photos, even if you didn't know who exactly is on the photo, you probably would assume is a Chris. And it baffles me why is it done that way? There's a reason behind anything, you know. Everything is staged. This whole fashion industry is all staged. It works exactly the same like movie industry, like music industry. Fashion is exactly the same note, and it works in the same way. So that's why if something is being staged, we need to break it down. Why? So stay with us and we'll keep you informed. Take care.